What's up, my brothers? If you hear the air conditioning in the background, please forgive me. It is hot as hell in Arlington, Texas. I can't be melting out here. So if you hear that, please forgive me. Brothers, one thing we really need to talk about is the male gaze. The male gaze confuses us. It confuses us because we have other men telling us, hey, bro, you're not that bad looking. Hey, bro, it's nothing wrong with you. You shouldn't have a problem getting women. And the thing is, it's true. From our perspective, we see another dude struggling with women and he's average looking. We think he's average looking. We're like, bro, you shouldn't have a problem. But the thing is, brothers, the problem is we're talking about him from our perspective. It only matters how women treat him. The female gaze is what matters most. Now, the male gaze is important if you want, male respect. If you want to be accepted by your male peers, that's important. But when it comes to attracting other women, which most of us, we're in this community because that's what we want to do, the female gaze is most important. And I think it's detrimental to men, to young men, old men, it doesn't really matter. It's detrimental when we say things like, bro, you look okay, you shouldn't have a problem. Because we're talking about this from our perspective. I'm going to tell you guys a little story from my early teenage years. I'm pretty much a carbon copy of my dad. The only difference is my dad had hazel eyes. My dad had a little bit sharper features and he had a little bit lighter skin. But those things worked drastically in his favor. Even though I'm a carbon copy of my dad, those things right there set him apart. And those things helped him have success with women. I didn't have much success growing up. I really didn't. Even though I'm a carbon copy of my dad, I was just a regular looking black guy. Okay, my dad had the hazel eyes. He had the little bit of sharper features, and that's what set him apart. And those things right there, they play a huge role in the female gaze, especially with black women. If a black woman sees a black man with different colored eyes, boom, he's automatically got her attention right there. My dad never could understand that. My dad could never understand. He never understood what, because my dad did everything he could to prevent me from becoming an incel. My dad he actually played an instrumental role in me losing my virginity at 14. And I can talk about that later in another video. My dad did everything he could and he succeeded. But he would always hound me like, son, why are you having problems? You look just like me. Why are you having problems? He never understood that those things that helped him, I didn't have, so they didn't help me. That's why I struggled more. He didn't understand that. My dad, he would be like, son, you look just like me. You shouldn't be having problems getting girls in high school, middle school. You shouldn't be having this. You shouldn't be having any issues. Like, you already can communicate effectively. You got the mouthpiece. You got the game. I taught you everything. You work out all the time. What's your problem? And my dad he could never get it. He never understood it. Like, he's like, a son that looks like me, I don't have issues. Why is he having issues? He just never got it. And that's one of the main issues with the male gaze, because we judge our fellow men harshly because we're like, bro, you look okay. You look fine. Just take a shower and get a haircut, bro, and you'll be all right. No, that's not how it works. And I wish we would understand this. You can never trust another man rating your face. Don't ever trust a man rating your face, ever. Because no matter how much we try to separate, our male gaze from objectivity, no matter how much we try to do that, we can't. We cannot. Because we're always going to have that male gaze there. And the thing is, the male gaze favors masculinity more than anything. We see like a bald, like muscular dude with a beard, we're like, damn, that dude, he got it, man. He's attractive. Most females don't find that attractive. Most females find the athletic, lean body type more attractive. A guy with a head full of hair, you know, not so masculine looking face. He doesn't have to be uber masculine looking. That's what females find attractive. So the male gaze, we get it wrong every single fucking time. We do. And that's a problem, and hopefully we can correct it, but I don't see it ever happening. It's ingrained within our nature. It really is. The male gaze, it's ingrained in our nature, so we're never going to change it. We're always going to see how we see things. So it's not going to change, but hopefully if we get the message out there, you know, there'll be a subtle shift where we're not punishing or criticizing our fellow men, you know, for struggling. Because at the end of the day, it's not your fault. It's not a man's fault. For the most part, there are some dudes out here who, you know, it's something that they do that turns off women. They initially bring women in, they bring them into their orbit, and then they do something to turn them off. But that's very few and far between. Because if a woman really likes you, it doesn't really matter what you do. She's still going to give you some. But for the most part, men who struggle, it's not their fault. It isn't. And we like to push this, you know, this thing like, oh, it's your fault. You're the one having issues. You look normal, bro. You shouldn't have any problems. It's never our fault. It's nobody's fault, actually. It's just female choice. And females are very discriminate. Extremely discriminate. Females are the natural eugenists. Females practice eugenics every single time they look at you. When a female looks at you and she doesn't treat you favorably, she doesn't give you those bedroom eyes, she's telling you that, hey, I don't think your genetics are good enough to go to the next generation. I just don't think that. I do not want to carry your genetics to the next generation. That's all they're doing. And that's part of their programming. You can't fault them for that. That's part of their programming. All right, brothers, I hope you took something and learned something from this video. Take heed. Peace.